Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things underneath the way common sense sons. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Disney absolutely knows that its live-action Snow White remake starring Rachel Zegler, weird, is absolutely doomed at the box office because, boys and girls, not only are the ticket sales looking absolutely abysmal for the previews, and for some reason they only opened about 10 days beforehand, but now Disney is drastically cutting back on its red carpet for the premiere, which happens this week, ladies and gentlemen, and this is something that has not ever been seen before for a Disney movie, especially one of their live actions that they have pushed for so many times and has actually made them a lot of money in the past. Well, it looks like that gravy train is officially over, and maybe it has something to do with a little bit of weird going on with Rachel Zegler, but needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, Disney knows this thing is DOA, because as you can see here from the headline of thatparkplace.com, Disney scales back Snow White U.S. premiere. No traditional red carpet media interviews allowed. Well, why wouldn't you want Rachel Zegler to be interviewed by the media? It's worked out so well for you in the past, hasn't it? Oh, yes. And even in Disney's own backyard, the ticket sales are looking bad, and Disney Springs AMC dedicates minimal screens to Zegler's release. Yes, boys and girls, all the signs are pointing in the exact same direction. Even the Walt Disney Company understands after the absolute media disastrous dumpster fire they have had surrounding this movie involving Rachel Zegler and everything else, and all the rest of the controversy going on behind it, that this movie is going to be an absolute flop, and they know it to be true. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to share these articles from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already. Boys and girls, we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. We're getting inching our way closer and closer to 1,700, and we really love you if you smash that little button down there below. Also, let us know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Does this make it very obvious and apparent that Disney knows this movie is absolutely DOA, or do you think Snow White might actually turn around and end up being a box office success? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And if I can support our content, please check out the links in the description as well. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Montanero. With just days to go before the release of live-action Snow White remake, Disney is drastically reducing its usual Hollywood premiere spectacle. The studio is still hosting an event on March 15th at the El Capitan Theater, but it won't include the extensive red carpet and media presence typically associated with a major Disney release. And that's one of those things that doing all that kind of stuff, having all those people there, having food and drinks for everybody and all that kind of stuff, that costs them more money. And if this is something that they know, I mean, they're drastically scaling back on their marketing for a movie that literally releases in just like 10 days. That is not a good sign. Instead, only photographers and a house crew will be allowed to cover the event, with no traditional press interviews taking place. And I wonder why. You don't want Rachel Zegler talking again. I mean, did you see the video of Gal Gadot and her at like the Oscars or whatever, where they were presenting that award together? Dude, Rachel Zegler hates Gal Gadot, and Gal Gadot did a lot better job of hiding it, but you could see Rachel Zegler practically stomping, and that forced smile on her face just looked hideous. She cannot stand Gal Gadot, and guess what? This is what happens when Disney casts Gal Gadot as the evil queen and Rachel Zegler as Snow White, where we're somehow supposed to believe that Snow White, Rachel Zegler, is somehow fairer than Gal Gadot. Yeah, not so much in any way, shape, or form. So Disney has not commented on this shift, but even Variety acknowledges that this decision comes amid ongoing controversy surrounding the film. The movie follows months of backlash and its marketing missteps, making it clear that Disney is playing defense as the film nears its March 21st theatrical release. I mean, literally every trailer for this movie has gotten ratioed into oblivion. It's not even close. It's just absolutely hilarious. Like, the comment section are filled with people bashing this stuff. There's a great little AI video out there. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them out there now of just a little AI voice reading off the comments. It's absolutely hilarious. Like, this thing is getting crushed at every single angle, and they've got no one to blame for themselves. Their burst for diversity, inclusion, and equity didn't work out with the race swap of Little Mermaid, which cost them money as well, and it's going to be even worse with Rachel Zegler, and her stupid big mouth has not helped them in any way, shape, or form. In the past, Disney has gone all out for live-action remakes, with elaborate red carpet events, numerous interviews, and a media blitz to build hype. The decision to scale back this aspect of Snow White signals a lack of confidence in the film's reception. For context, even underperforming Disney films have reached a full red carpet treatment. Captain America: Brave New World, despite concerns over its potential box office performance, we heard from Disney insiders over and over and over again that movie was mid at best, and that's after doing massive reshoots, that's after shooting the movie twice. Yet still, had a high-profile rollout. Yet with Snow White, Disney is seemingly keeping things low-key. That's a move that only raises more questions about the film's prospects. And speaking of those film's prospects, even Disney knows in their own backyard that there's no sense in wasting their screens putting this movie all over the place, because Disney put Snow White tickets on sale just 10 days before release, and it's not looking good. Disney Springs AMC dedicates minimal screens to Zegler's release. Literally, on Disney's own property, their AMC out there, and they're not even trying to push this movie. Disney has finally made its tickets available for its live-action Snow White remake just 10 days before its official release on March 21st. Now, one of the reasons why they're probably doing that is because they don't want a bunch of reports, and they don't want to give us all a bunch of excuses to make videos for like weeks going up to this premiere saying how abysmally bad the ticket sales are. They just don't want that kind of press. Now, are the legacy media institutions going to introduce that kind of stuff? No, but a lot of the new independent journalists and commentators out there, like myself and so many others that do a way better job at this than I do, absolutely will. Absolutely will. They will roast. I mean, Ryan Kennel out there, that boy will put out a video every week, if not every day, prior to the movie of this, just continually bashing the box office numbers and continuing to bash off the ticket sales. Guess what? Disney doesn't want that kind of heat. They already know this thing's going to be a flop. Thursday previews begin on March 20th, but the late push to sell tickets has already raised eyebrows. Adding to the film's opening troubles, the latest 1-minute teaser promoting ticket sales was met with immediate backlash. With just 8 hours, the video received 1.4 thousand likes and 2.1 thousand dislikes, a clear indication of audience sentiment. And I have seen this commercial on my own YouTube out there. I've seen it on the Pluto TV app as well, watching a lot of that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just one of those things. I was just laughing at it. Get tickets now. I'm like, yeah, that's really going to work out for you, ain't it? And apparently the fans have made their opinions heard too by absolutely destroying and ratioing that trailer into oblivion, just like all of the rest of them. This movie is going to flop. Perhaps the most telling sign of the movie's troubled prospects is its lackluster presence at AMC Disney Springs in Orlando, Florida, a theater where Disney traditionally pulls out all the stops for major releases. Normally, for a high-profile Disney film, multiple screens are dedicated to its debut, including both the standard and dine-in theaters, i.e. your Alamo Drafthouses. I love those places. However, an analysis of the Snow White preview and opening night showtime suggests Disney is not expecting a strong turnout. As you can see, they've got all of the actual screenshots here, showing all this kind of stuff and how many things they've got. So for Thursday previews, the film has only been assigned the Dolby Theater and what appears to be, judging from the showtimes, 2 standard screens in the main AMC theater. The dine-in theater is relegated to just 1 small screen. What's worse, the showings that have been booked aren't selling well. That's insane. The small screen in their dining theater for their biggest live action release out there. Yeah, methinks Disney is not expecting anybody to show up to the theaters in their own backyard. That is bad. In the image above, captured from the AMC mobile app on March 10th, you can see that the 8 p.m. laser showing of Snow White for March 20th has only 15 seats sold. Compare this to Captain America Brave New World, another Disney film expected to struggle at the box office, which it has. It's now a confirmed flop. That movie is going to cost Disney Marvel hundreds of millions of dollars, which still secured multiple screens across both theaters with the showings scheduled at nearly every hour. The limited rollout for Snow White suggests that Disney is keeping expectations low, even one of the most heavily attended locations. So that's it. We don't need to go through all of this, rest of this. We know Rachel Zegler has been out there talking because every time she opens her mouth, it just pisses off even more people out there. And Disney knows this thing is going to flop. If they didn't, they'd be having this thing screenings all over the place. They'd have a big fat red carpet rollout, and they are not doing any of this, boys and girls. Snow White is doomed, and Disney knows it, and that's proof positive by the limited amount of screenings they're offering in their own backyard and the fact that they are doing zero red carpet rollout for this. No press interviews, very limited showing, very limited people with access. That is not a good sign in any way, shape, or form, and Disney should be worried. They know this movie is going to be a flop, just like all of the rest of us with half a brain in our head knew this right from the very beginning. Right when Rachel Zegler opened up her big mouth the very first time, we knew this thing was going to be a disaster of a dumpster fire. You cannot have the Snow White, the movie that basically saved the Walt Disney Company and launched it into what it is right now. You cannot take something that is beloved by generations of the Walt Disney fans out there and decide to go diversity, inclusion, and equity with it. It does not work. It is failing and flopped every single time. And now Disney is about to be in one of the worst disasters that they have ever seen for a live-action remake. And boys and girls, I cannot wait to report onto the box office numbers for this, because after all, go woke, go broke, and Rachel Zegler is the epitome of woke insanity, ladies and gentlemen.